Now we've been talking about outlays. The fact that a lion's share of spend for the next 6 to 9 months would have to come in from the government's end. Private capex will not come in a hurry. But what a large government spend does, that it opens up businesses for a lot of private companies as well as PSUs, of course. So Railways plan the highest outlay of 1.35 lakh crores for FY18. They're seeking 60,000 crores from the Finance Ministry as budgetary support, but I distinctly remember reading the Railways Minister saying that even if the budgetary support does not come about, they'll be able to raise enough money from the market in order to go ahead with this planned outlay. And therefore, I think it's pertinent to get in a couple of companies within this space and to talk about this very same Mr. V. Kalyana Rama, who is the CMD of Container Corporation or CONCOR Johnson, as does Umesh Chaudhary, MD at Titagar Wagons. Gentlemen, both of you, thank you so much for joining in. Now, Mr. Rama, this announcement or this statement, one of the highest outlays, 1.35 lakh crores for FY18 to upgrade existing infra, invest in freight corridors, so on and so forth. You know, all through the last 3 or 4 years, the quantums may vary, but we've heard of planned outlays. Somehow it doesn't quite result in the order books of railway companies and the results of the railway companies really showing the same performance. Why is that disconnect, and can it get corrected this time around?
See, I think it should get connected, but anyhow, I am not connected with that space of working. See, our company, our capex is completely different from the capex which you are talking of. But hopefully this time, because I am a little bit connected with these things, I hope things will definitely work out.
Well, I know, and we'll come to something that essentially about your company as well, because I do remember that there was earlier conversations that the racks could be doubled in terms of railway transportation, and that itself will add a lot of value to CONCOR. We'll come to CONCOR specific things. But right now I'm asking you to wear more of an industry hat and tell whether this disconnect can get corrected for the sector at large.
You see, out of the capital outlay what is given by the Railway Ministry, it's not only the wagons, it is also the development, infrastructure development and the sectional capacity works, and also so many other works in this, like safety related works. So I think the capital outlay given by the Railway Ministry should be able to, come through, and definitely it should get connected with the industry also. The industry also should get benefited. Of course, this is more or less, dependent on the economy also. The economy, everybody is expecting to pick up in the year 17-18. So with the pick up in the economy, the things should work out.
Okay, that's a positive thought. I want to also get on board Mr. Umesh Chaudhary, the MD at Titagar Wagons, in on the discussion. And Mr. Chaudhary, Railways planning this big outlay of 1.35 lakh crore rupees for FY18. What size of the pie do you expect to capture from this capex?
You see, as far as the total expenditure of the railway is concerned, part of that goes into the infrastructure, that is the track creation and the station creation and stuff like that. We are really not significantly present in that part of it. But what is the recurring expenditure is on rolling stock, and that is exactly where we come in. And a large part of the rolling stock comes towards the end of the first part of the infrastructure spend. So I believe that over the last 1.5 to 2 years, the kind of infrastructure spend that has already happened, now is the time coming for the rolling stock spend to happen. And we are very hopeful that within the next 2017 and 2018 and onwards, a lot of money would be spent by the railways in the rolling stock, where we are present both in the freight and the passenger side.
So Umesh, what are the orders you are expecting from the railways, arguably even overseas? Some insight into tenders that you've bid for, size, pipeline thereof?
As far as wagons are concerned, last year our group received the highest quantum of wagon. We had about close to 24% market share between Titagar and its subsidiary Simco. And as far as the next year's tender is concerned, we will know that once the budget is finalized. The budget now this time is merged with the union budget, which will be on the 1st of February. So after that only the actual quantum of procurement that is going to happen will be known.
Mr. Ram, I want to get you in on the discussion as well. You know exactly the point as to how much would be the benefit of this capex outlay. What kind of increment in volumes are you anticipating for the second half of the fiscal?
You see, as I mentioned earlier, we are maintaining our growth rate of around 8 to 10%, and I am not seeing any downward trend in that. I am hopeful of achieving the 8 to 10% growth in the volumes in this FY, definitely. So things are going on as per the plan, and really the demonetization did not affect much on the volumes which we are handling as on date also.
So just to understand things,
yeah.
No, go ahead, please.
No, I'm just concluding that, that makes us comfortable of, achieving the growth plan, whatever we are maintaining the guidance of 8 to 10% in the volumes in this FY.
So where is your current total order book, and if you could give us a segmental division as well for the same?
About our order book?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, we are doing, in EXIM as last the first 6 months results, we achieved around roughly 5% growth in EXIM sector and around 1.5 to 1.6% growth in our domestic sector. It will be in the same scenario that EXIM will be more pronounced because our out of the total the volumes handled, EXIM gives us around 80% of our volumes and 20% is through the domestic segment. So the same thing will continue as far as the volumes is concerned.
You don't think demonetization is likely to impact the EXIM segment at all?
As of now, it is not there. So I'm hopeful because now already it is from November 8th onwards almost we are reaching that 50 days period, and even though if it continues also, but because in the last 45 days not much effect on our volumes, things are moving on.
Mr. Rama, I think after that Q2 disappointment because of that land license fees or otherwise which are difficult to pass on, everybody is hoping for better volume numbers, one, and I think everybody is also betting on the fact that if double stacking starts, then with volumes of 7.5 that you've guided for, your margins will improve incrementally in quarter 3 and quarter 4. Are those assumptions correct, and will we see evidence of that in this quarter?
You see, we are now because we are almost reaching our third quarter and we will be coming out with our results. I will not be talking about the figures right now. But regarding the double stack which you mentioned, the double stack is going on very good. In fact, we started our double stack not only in imports but in exports also. And the most positive sign is that when we are running timetable trains in EXIM sector between Delhi and Mundra via Kathuwas, the response of the market is very good. The product is launched and right from the first day it is a hit. Now till now we are doing 2 trains between Delhi, Dadri into Kathuwas. Now we increased it to 4 trains, adding Ludhiana also into the circuit. So this is an encouraging sign that the people are adapting to the railway, definitely back from road into the railway, where we are assuring them the transit time. And these are giving our double stack trains in export sector. The number of double stack trains moving out of Kathuwas or coming into Kathuwas are increasing month on month. So I am also hopeful that once I see the figures, my financial figures will be crunching, my finance F&F people must be crunching the figures very soon for the third quarter, and we are hopeful we should be able to come out with some better results because the things worked out well in this quarter.
Yeah, that. Mr. Chaudhary, to you then, the government has already spent over 55% of their budgetary plan for the fiscal. What kind of auto inflow do you see during this period, and which segments saw maximum traction according to you?
The biggest amount of ordering that happened and the biggest amount of money that was spent was in creating infrastructure. As I mentioned, that is, so if you really look at the value chain, the first part of the value chain is creating the infrastructure. That happened in the last 1.5, 2 years. The second part of the value chain is spending in the rolling stock, which is what we are expecting to start from now.
Right. And what about urban rail infra? Because that is seeing increased activity, with analysts estimating that, the segment is likely to grow at 20% CAGR. After the Kolkata Metro rehabilitation project, which other areas are you exploring within space, and what revenue share do you expect to gain from here?
That is not really railways. That is under the Ministry of Urban Development and the states, and that's a very big business segment that we are targeting. So we qualified by ourselves without any external consortium member for the Nagpur Metro. Of course, that matter is still being adjudicated in judicial forums, but not respect to our qualification. But we believe we were the lowest bidder, and I can't really comment more on that because it's sub judice. But that has opened up the gates for us to participate in the different metro tenders that are going to come up all over the world. So what we did in Calcutta Metro was only refurbishment or rehabilitation, but that is not what our end game was. That was just to put our foot into the door. Our main game is to manufacture metro coaches, and that's why we acquired the Italian company which has done the metro coaches for Milan Metro and has all the technology.
All right, Jaman, we wish you all the very best. Umesh, thanks for joining in and giving us your thoughts as always. Mr. Rama, all the best with the double stacking, and hopefully it shows a lot of positive results in the October, November, December quarter as well. I'm sure it will do that going ahead. But thanks for joining in.